Haribol, Hare Krishna, welcome. So we're going to begin on page 1 with Mangalacharan, and then we'll go into Guru Bhajan.
माधुर्योज्ज्वल प्रेमध्य श्रीरूपा
श्रीमूर्तये विनतारिणे रूपानुगं निरुद्धापं सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिया वैष्णव सर्वभौमश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्तो नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्गो मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोज राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमः श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठानिधि सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवततस्थितः कर्षन्देनुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुमः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णा भक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द चेतोदर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिकावितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाम्बुदिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनं हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामैव केवलं कलो नास्त्येव गतिरन्यथा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Shri Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman, page 359. Shri Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman, Shri Guru Guru Charana Kamal 39, Ohe Vaishnav Thakur. Just in case any of you were wondering, when we did our Mangalacharan, when we did the pranam of our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, at that time I said, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Gaura Preshtaya Bhutale Sriman Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Iti Namine. One time we were doing it the other way, Acharya Singh Harupine, and Srila Gurudev, afterward he said, it is true that my Gurudev was so bold and powerful like a lion. But it's not always nice to just hear that your Gurudev is like a lion. Much more than that, he is near and dear to Gauranga, Mahaprabhu. He said, so I like Gaura Preshtaya Bhutale. So from that time we began singing Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Gaura Preshtaya Bhutale Shri Sriman Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Iti Namine. And if you listen to Srila Gurudev, at the beginning of every class when he would do his Mangalacharan, at that time he would always offer his pranam to his Gurudev, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Gaura Preshtaya Bhutale, with Gaura Preshtaya. So that's why we do it that way, even though it says something different in the book. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, page 39. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Doyaro Sagaro, Edase Karuna Kori. Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Doyaro Sagaro, Edase Chaya Shubho He Amare Diya the title and the name?
Yes.
Okay. Right, I forgot to tell you, in case you're participating, there's an app on the App Store for both Apple and Android. It's called Gaudiya Kirtan app. Very beautiful, very colorful, with a mridanga in it. You see the picture. So if you don't have the songbook, you can download that app. It has more than 600 bhajans from our acharyas.
But you will say the name.
But I will also say the names for you. Page 61, Nitai Gunamani. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Nitai Gunamani Amar Nitai Gunamani Aniya Premero Manya জানিয়া শুনিয়া সে আত্মঘাতী হইল। নিতাই গুণ মনি আমার, নিতাই গুণ মনি, নিতাই গুণ আনিয়া প্রেমের বন্যা ভাসাইল বনি। The page is Vande Vishwambara. Vande Vishwambara Padakamalam, page 339. Vande Vishwam Bharapadakamalam Vande Vishwam Bharapadakamalam Vande Vishwam Bharapadakamalam Khandita Kali Yuga Janamal Shamalam Jai Jai Sundar Nanda Kumar, page 344. Jai Jai Sundar Nanda Kumar. Jayo Jayo Sundar Nanda Kumar. Jayo Jayo Sundar Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dete. I think it's very close to the, also by Sri Rupa Goswami. What page is it? Page 341. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayate. Jaya So now we're going to chant together Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Many people are chanting now to ward off the effects of viruses. But our Guru Varga have explained to us that the purpose of chanting, the purpose of calling out the names of the Lord, is not to stop famines, is not to stop viruses or anything like that. That might be a secondary natural effect of chanting. But the real purpose of chanting, the real purpose of kirtan, is to please the Lord, to serve Him. And when He is served, when He is pleased, then automatically everything is taken care of. But if we're only using Him or His energy for taking care of material situations, that almost plays out directly into the pastimes which we've been discussing. Using the Lord and His energy, like Mahaprabhu says, Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. You have invested your holy names with all of your potencies. So if we're taking the potency of the Lord and trying to use it for some material purpose, then actually this is not the proper use of the name. This is the wrong utilization. Really taking the name of the Lord is only for Krishna's pleasure, for His happiness. And as an automatic side effect of that, love and devotion will awaken in our hearts. If love and devotion awakens in our hearts, then there's no need to worry about anything else. Because the definition even of surrender, Sharanagati, is that Krishna is my protector, Krishna is my maintainer, He will carry what I lack, He will preserve what I have. And if one is really surrendered to Krishna, then their mood would be, no matter what happens, Marobi Rakhobi Jo Ichatohar. If you want, you can protect me, or you can kill me. But I know that I'm an eternal soul, so nothing can really touch me, but I am always your eternal servant. Radha Krishna Pranamor, Jugala Kishore, Jivane Marane Gati Ar Nahi More. O Radha Krishna, you are my life and soul. It doesn't matter in life or death, there is no other goal than you. So with this mood, entering into Harinam, not using it to ward off any material situation, but focusing our attention only on pleasing Krishna for his happiness, for his pleasure, for his benefit, then it will be considered bhakti. जय श्री रूपानंद गौरी गुरु वर्ग की जय प्रतिपावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जी की जय श्री राधा रमन जी की जय श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय गौर भक्त वृंद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Where is Sudevi?
गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीश्रीमान् भक्तिवेदान्तनारायणेति नामिने। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनेति नामिने। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Prashta Om Vishnupad Ashtotar Shatashishmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same into the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Prashta Om Vishnupad Ashtotar Shatashishmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of you who are watching on Facebook Live during this lockdown. I'm offering my Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you.
So a question came yesterday. We have heard a few times where Ram is telling different personalities, when I come again as Krishna, or when I come back as Krishna in Dwapar Yuga, at that time I will fulfill all of your desires. And it seems to suggest that, well, if Ram is coming as Krishna, then Ram must have come first. Therefore, Ram is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna is his incarnation. It seems to suggest that. And so I was asked to reconcile that point. Of course, we know that according to Srimad Bhagavatam, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called the spotless evidence, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what? Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. It is the Amala evidence, the spotless evidence, completely pure evidence. There it is said, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, that Krishna is the supreme, original personality of Godhead, himself, from whom all other forms have manifested and emanated, like waves in the ocean. And Sri Brahma Samhita confirms this by starting off the verse, Ram Adi Murti, Ram Adi Murti, Ram and all other forms. Kala, they are like the phases, different aspects or manifestations. But Krishna Swayam, Krishna is himself the source or the origin of everything. Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramappumanyo. So this is Tattva, Siddhanta. But how do we understand? We should understand that Krishna in Vrindavan has his aprakat lila, which is always going on, nitya lila. And periodically he manifests within this world, on this earth planet, or in any universe, any other universe on their earthly planets, to perform his pastimes. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he was explaining that it's like a transcendental roadshow. So he has his original, eternal, nitya lila, aprakat, where he is always present. He never departs that. But he himself manifests himself in any material world like a transcendental roadshow. So Prabhupada said, in the first second in the first universe, and the second second in the next universe, and the third second in the next. Meaning that he's always doing his pastimes in any universe at any given time. Or in every universe at every given time, simultaneously. So we understand, according to Shastra, how often Krishna appears and how often Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. Once in a day of Brahma. Our Brahma lives for 311, plus or minus a few billion, 311 trillion of our years. One of his seconds is 100,000 of our human years. Yet he only lives 100 of his years, and we live 100 of our years. So he has his full 100 years, that's his life, and we have our full 100 years, if we're lucky these days. That's our full life. One day of Brahma is 8,640,000,000 years. And his night, means the next 12 hours for him, is also the same. So Krishna appears once in a day of Brahma. So you have to double that. Isn't it?
It's too much math.
Okay. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes right after the time of Krishna. Therefore, Rupa Goswami writes, Anarpita charinchirat karunayavatirnakaro samarpayitum unatojvala rasam svabhaktishriyam. How rare is it? As if he has never appeared before, he's saying, so rare this form of the Lord is manifesting. But also Krishna manifests that rarely as well, in this world, as Krishna. In the same way, Sri Ram also has his eternal pastime abode, aprakat, the transcendental dham. This is transcendental Ayodhya. And when he performs his pastimes in this world, then he manifests in this world or in any other world to perform his pastimes. It does not necessarily take place in every Treta Yuga. What I have read from our Guru Varga is that he does not manifest in every single Treta Yuga. Any other avatar may appear then, but Sri Ram himself does not necessarily appear in every Treta Yuga. What is the simple proof of that? He did not appear in this particular Treta Yuga. Ram appears once in a Manu. There are 14 Manus in the day of Brahma, and Ram appears once in a Manu. So that means 14 times. Once in a Manu. But it doesn't mean that he appears in every Treta Yuga. So, the pastimes of the Lord, we should understand that the Lord is eternal and he is unlimited. Ram is eternally present. Narasimha is eternally present. Narayan is eternally present. All avatars are eternally present, and Krishna is eternally present. But when he chooses to manifest himself to us in any particular form, that is according to his desire and his will. And it is not necessarily that this one came first before this one, therefore we should chant Hare Ram first, and then Hare Krishna next. Some people made this mistake thinking, oh, Ram came first and then Krishna, so let's flip the Hare Krishna mantra inside out. Let's chant Hare Ram first and then Hare Krishna next. And they even published it in Gita Press. But our Guru Varga, our Acharyas, have gone and done intensive research before the publications of Gita Press, where they flipped the mantra around and found that in the Kalisantaran Upanishad, There it is told originally, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. So, this is a very important lesson for us. We should not change Vedic mantras to suit our whimsical mental ideas. We should accept the Vedic mantras as they are. We should understand that Krishna and Ram are both eternal. Actually, Ram is not different from Krishna. When Krishna wants to taste Maryada Mayi Ras, the ras of the experience of Maryada, then he manifests himself as Sri Ram and Srimati Radhika manifests herself as Sita. When Krishna wants to taste ghastly ras, which is known as Vibhatsa, Srila Gurudev said, then he manifests himself as Sri Narasimhadev Bhagavan. And we've seen the ghastly ras of Narasimhadev, where he is literally ripping apart Hiranyakashipu and millions of warriors, millions of demons. So there's something ghastly about this, but the Lord has all rasas within him, all tastes within himself, so he is manifesting in all of these different forms. So the question here, it seems that because Ram is saying, when I appear as Krishna, that it means that Ram is the original and Krishna is manifesting from him. There is a history. Before Ram, there was a fight between the demigods and the demons. And this was told by Durvasa to Vashishta Rishi and Dasharath Maharaj. So this history is there in the Puranas. There was a fight between the demigods and the demons. And at that time, the demigods defeated the demons and the demons went running for shelter. Who did they run to? They ran to the wife of the guru of the demigods, that is the wife of Bhrigu Muni. At that time, the demigods approached Vamandev. Who was there? Ishtadev. They worship Vamandev. He always resides in the heavenly planets because he's the younger brother of Indra. Therefore, he's known as Upendra. He's also residing with Bali Maharaj, another manifestation of him. This was the request of Bali Maharaj in the subterranean heavenly planets, or you can say the demonic planets, but he's residing there because of the request of Bali Maharaj. But in this case, the demons ran to the wife of Bhrigu Muni and took shelter. The demigods went and told Vamandev that the demons had taken shelter of the wife of Bhrigu Muni. So Vamandev took out his chakra and took off her head. At that time, Bhrigu Muni became so upset. What has happened here? This is my wife. You've just killed my wife. You've removed her head. And then he cursed Vamandev. I curse you that you will have to also experience the pain of separation from your wife. So as a result of this, we see in Ram Leela that Vamandev then manifested as Ram, and Ram has to experience the pain of separation from his wife. Does this mean that actually Vamandev is the original avatar and Ram is an incarnation of him? No. It does not mean this. Vamandev is eternal. Ram is eternal. Krishna is eternal. But, as I told on the first day, there's the idea of fire. Fire is fire is fire. But Krishna is compared to the original candle which lights the first or any other fire. Deeparchideva hidasantaramapyupetya deepayate bruvitahetu samana dharma yastadrigeva hicha vishnutaya vidhati govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. The original. Now, also it is said that according to Tattva Vichar, according to the conception of Tattva, that actually all forms of Krishna, Vishnu, Ram, Narayan, Vamandev, they're all one in Tattva. There's no real difference. There's only the expression which is apparently different. And that expression is known as rasa. So from the perspective of rasa vichar, vichar means perspective. So from the perspective of the manifestation of pastimes and how the Lord relates with his devotees, this is called rasa. From this perspective, Krishna is known as Purna Chandra, Akila Rasamrita Murti. Sarvatma Snap. He's able to completely fulfill the desires of everyone. Whereas Krishna, in the form of Ram, has decided to experience Maryada. Maryada means the following of rules and regulations. So Ram made a vow. I will accept only one wife. Eka Patni Vrat. That is Sita. But as we said the other day, so many of those princesses of Janakpuri, contemporaries of Sita Devi, when they saw Ram, immediately they fell in love with him. They wanted to give their own very lives to him. But he had made a vow to accept only one wife. So at that time, Ram is telling them, you should continue to do austerities. Remember me, think of me when I come again, or when I manifest, or when Krishna manifests, then Krishna will fulfill all of your desires. But our Gurudev said, when I come as Krishna, then I will fulfill all of your desires. We should understand that you cannot detect when the original Ram or the original Krishna manifested in any world or any universe, because it is cyclical. So, what came first? Did Ram come first? Did Krishna come first? Because his avatars have always been manifesting and he is ever existent, we cannot say this one came first, or this one came first, or this one came first. And to make a judgment based on one Chatur Yuga. Oh, Ram came in Treta Yuga, then Krishna came in Dwapara Yuga, then Mahaprabhu came in Kali Yuga. This is a very, very narrow-minded perspective. We're only looking from a very small timeline of absolute reality. Mahavishnu is there breathing in and out universes since forever. And within each universe, the Lord is performing his pastimes, and they're going on cyclically. So imagine, maybe your favorite actor, he has a series, and he's performing so many different acting jobs. He's got one series here and one series here. But he's still the same person. But he's acting in this role. And then he's acting again. And then he'll go to another place and he'll act in a different way. So Krishna is one, but he's appearing in many forms. Keshavadritta Narahari Rupa, Keshavadritta Rama Sharira, Keshavadritta Vamana Rupa, Keshavadritta Matsya, Varaha, Kurma, all avatars. These 10 avatars are mentioned there in the Dashavatar Stotra, but actually there are unlimited manifestations. Srila Prabhupada said in every species. And in this planet we have 8,400,000, but maybe in other universes there are more. There are different. So Krishna's pastimes are unlimited, and according to his own desire, he is manifesting himself unlimitedly because he is the taster of ras. That is his nature. By definition, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj quotes one famous German philosopher, Hegel, that God by definition is of himself and for himself. Means everything that manifests from him is exclusively for his purpose. So he desires, simply, he tastes, he enjoys and relishes. This is the meaning of Vishai Bhagavan. He's the supreme enjoyer and he's enjoying in every ras. But we cannot say Krishna came first, no, Ram came first, no, Krishna came first. This is not proper mood. We should understand that all of them are always eternal. But still, according to Shastra, it says, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, that he is the original or himself, and then he has manifested all of these different avatars. So, now we're going to continue with Sri Ram Leela. Yesterday we heard how Sri Ram killed Ravan. And I read from Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj what Ravan represents and what killing Ravan also represents for us practically. Even though these pastimes are real. Because actually Ravan is one of the eternal associates of the Lord in the spiritual world. Right? Jaya and Vijaya were cursed. They took birth as Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, then Ravan, Kumbhakarna, then Shishupal, Dantavakra, then Jagai Madai. So they are the eternal associates of the Lord. In every pastime that the Lord presents, there are also so many valuable lessons for us. And so in this, Ravan was seen to be the personification of Mayavad, Nirvisheshvad, and Shunyavad. Means that he wanted to remove the Shakti, the potency of the Lord, and make the Lord powerless by taking Sita and wanting to enjoy her for himself. So we made the point yesterday that anyone who has this kind of mood to try to enjoy the property of the Lord, everything is the property of the Lord. If we want to enjoy that for ourselves, taking money or any material things for my enjoyment, without taking it as prasad, but only taking it for my bhoga, for my enjoyment, then this is Ravan mentality. Especially taking Lakshmi. Lakshmi, we see as money in this world, we call it Lakshmi. Taking Lakshmi for my own enjoyment, this is Ravan mentality. Nirvishesh means the idea that God has no form, no qualities, no attributes, just basically, you can't even say energy, because energy has Shakti. So really, nothing. Nirvishesh means without variety. Nirvana, without variety. This is one idea of God, but it is incomplete. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdyate. So Bhagavan is the other side, the other extreme. So in order to accept the idea of God, sure, we can say that there is no material qualities, no material form, no material attributes or anything. But we must also accept Bhagavan, full of all transcendental variety, full of all transcendental qualities and attributes. This is Bhagavan. So, this is the full spectrum. Brahmeti, Paramatmiti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdyate. Srimad Bhagavatam tells. Yes. So now we're coming to, I told that Ram had just killed Ravan. And Ravan was representing this Nirvishesh Shunyavad. Param Gurudev said that Hanuman punched him in the chest.
With Bhakti Siddhanta.
That punch was the punch of Bhakti Siddhanta.
Wow.
Now, you know that our Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he said that if the worship of Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was stopped, that everything would turn to darkness. So there are many, many innuendos in that statement. But by the punch of Hanuman, who was the pure devotee, all of Ravan's Advaitavad was dispelled. Advaita means non-dual. Ravan was knocked unconscious by that punch of Bhakti Siddhanta, the truth of Bhakti. And then by that, Ram, with the arrow of Vedic sound vibration, Shabda Brahma, sent his Brahma Astra. Interesting, Shabda Brahma. By that transcendental sound vibration, he sent that Brahmastra to the heart of Ravan. It pierced his heart. He also severed all of Ram's heads. These 10 heads represent the 10 main conceptions of Nirvishesh Vad. So, completely destroying this demon Ravan who is trying to separate the Shakti from Shaktiman. For us, this is important also. Those who try to go in that direction will be destroyed. If you try to go toward Mukti, Mahaprabhu says, Mayavada Bhasha Shunaile Hoy Sarvanash. If you even hear these conceptions and entertain these conceptions, all of your inclination in bhakti will be destroyed. He's giving a very strong warning. Hoy Sarva Nash. Completely destroyed. So we should be very careful to stay away from those ideas, those kinds of conceptions, and the association of those persons who have and entertain these conceptions and try to push them on us. It is unfavorable for bhakti. It is unfavorable for the service of Krishna. It is unfavorable for the nature of our Atma. So after this, Sri Ram, after killing Ravan, established Ravan's brother, Vibhishan, as the ruler or the king of Lanka. Why? Vibhishan was Ravan's brother, yet Vibhishan was helping Ram, was helping Hanuman, was helping Lakshman, was helping them. So he had defected from the side of Ravan. Why? Because Vibhishan is a natural devotee of the Lord. And Ravan was against the Lord. So Vibhishan rejected Ravan. Guru nasasyat, svajanaho nasasyat, pita nasasyat, janani nasasyat, daivam nasasyan napachitsta sasyan, namochayadya samupeta mrityum. Anyone who does not encourage us toward the service of the Lord, they cannot save us from the path which leads to death. They are not fit to be in that position. Svajano means your own people. So Vibhishan rejected his own brother Ravan. Why? Because Ravan was against the Lord. Ravan was against the Lord. So we should also be very careful to judge. Just because Vibhishan was born in the family of demons, we should be careful not to judge. He had devotion for Ram. Prahlad was also born in a family of demons, but he had devotion for Ram. He had devotion for the Lord. Prahlad was saying, Matirna Krishna Paratasvatava. He's glorifying Krishna, always chanting the names of Krishna. Just because any devotee might be in the form of an animal, like Hanuman, we should be careful not to judge. If they have pure devotion in their heart, we should accept that this devotion is the only thing which gives any qualification. If we judge anyone by the color of their skin, if we judge anyone by their birth, if we judge anyone by whatever activities they have done before they come to the path of bhakti, Hari Bhakti Vilas says, this is paving one's path to hell. Many devotees tend to forget this. I would say devotees, but people who are subject to illusion tend to forget these very important points from Shastra. Advaita Acharya put Haridas Thakur on the high seat in front of all of the highest, greatest Brahmins. But Advaita Acharya was the leader of all the Brahmins. Still, he put Haridas Thakur there. All the Brahmins had been eyeing this seat. Hey, I wonder which one he must give it to me. I have the most credentials. But Advaita Acharya went outside and saw Haridas. Haridas Thakur was born in a family of Muslims. So generally, especially at that time, the Hindus had this idea that if even a shadow of the Muslim touched them or water was splashed on them from a Muslim, they would lose their caste. What about Haridas? He was born in a family of Muslims, but he is respected by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being Nam Acharya, Haridas Thakur. When Haridas Thakur left this world, Mahaprabhu was weeping and weeping. How did he leave? He begged Mahaprabhu, place your lotus feet on my chest. And as Haridas was leaving this world, he was looking into the eyes of Mahaprabhu, holding his feet on his chest, chanting, Jai Sachinandan, Jai Gaurahari, Jai Sachinandan. And he left in such a state. And Mahaprabhu was holding his body, weeping and doing kirtan, dancing, holding his body. How dear was he to Mahaprabhu? But if we judge him, oh, he was with them. Oh, he comes from America. Oh, he comes from China. He comes from this place or that place or whatever. This idea is actually a hellish mentality. In all Shastras, one is only considered qualified according to the level of their bhakti. We should not judge according to any material condition. Otherwise, we are subjecting ourselves to the result of Vaishnava aparad, which Mahaprabhu calls the mad elephant offense. The mad elephant will run into your garden, indiscriminately stomp on everything, destroy everything. Your garden of bhakti. So we should be very careful for this, not to judge according to this or that. A few years ago I was in one temple nearby and the devotees were glorifying some drama troupe that came. Oh, this drama troupe is so high class that they will not even take a potato that is peeled by a Westerner. It was a Western devotee in a black body who was telling me this, and she was glorifying it. And my immediate response was, that mood is Vaishnava aparad. Hari Bhakti Vilas says it brings one toward hell. How can you be glorifying this? oh, they're so high class, they wouldn't even take a potato if it's peeled by a Westerner. To have this idea and to glorify it and to promote it, this means they have not understood the first teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Naham vipro na chanarapati napi vaishyo na shudro naham varni na chagrihpati no vanasto yatirva kintu pradyanne kila pramanand purnamritabder gopi bhartu padakamanayor dasa dasa anudasa. I am not any of these material designations. My eternal nature is that I'm a servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, who is the beloved of the gopis. That's it. So Vibhishan was a great devotee of Sri Ram. And Ram coronated him. After killing Ravan, Ram placed him as the king of Lanka. So we should be careful not to judge according to one's birth or any other material qualification. We should only see one's bhakti. Rupa Goswami says in the 5th verse of Upadeshamrita, Krishneti yasya manasadariyeta dikshashti chet prantavishchavajantamisham. One should honor Vaishnavas according to the level of their bhakti. So we should endeavor to follow Rupa Goswami if we want to become Rupanuga. So after this, after killing Ravan and establishing Vibhishan, then Ram was going to go home with all of his associates. So Sita, Lakshman, and also Hanuman and others, he wanted to go. A very special, I read it yesterday, that I believe it was Indra or some deva came and gave a special nectar to all of the Vanaras, all of Hanuman's associates who had perished in that battle, and they all came back to life. But before Ram went on this special Vimana, it was a airplane by mind, to travel back to Ayodhya. At that time, he made a very, very interesting discrimination. He said, I have not come to take Sita, I have come to kill Ravan, because he has done the wrong thing. But according to Maryada, if any wife has stayed with another man other than her husband, even for one night, a man should not accept her back. So he needed to test to make sure that Sita Devi was pure. These days we don't have those kind of conditions. But in those days, those conditions were very, very strong. So at that time, Sita needed to do a test. What was the test? The fire test. The test of fire. Are you pure? At that time, so many said she is pure.
Even Janak Maharaj.
Janak Maharaj appeared. So many appeared and said she is pure, but still Ram wanted her to prove her chastity. So she entered into that fire willingly. So this was Maya Sita, Chaya Sita, entering into that fire. And Agni Dev came out with the original Sita and said, I vouch for her, she is pure. Even all the devas, the wind god said, I vouch for her, she is pure. I am everywhere, I see everything. The sun god all came and said she is pure. Everyone vouched for her. Even Dasharath Maharaj, he manifested at that time and said, I also vouch for her, she is pure. So Ram accepted her back because all the devas and all great personalities, they gave their word. Agni Dev himself, the fire god, who is present everywhere, in every atom even. Gurudev said he's present everywhere. He said, I am giving my word, she is pure. So Ram made this Vimana, very, very amazing airship, if you want to call it that. And Sita, Lakshman, Hanuman, all of the different personalities, all of the Vanaras who were there, they also entered on, all of those who were fighting. Gurudev said even Vibhishan came, because Ram was going back to Ayodhya after 14 years, and he was to be coronated. So at that time, Ram on his Vimana, this amazing airplane, Gurudev said that it could be, according to however many people were on it, it could increase in size or decrease, but according to however many people came. So thousands and millions were on this special airplane, and they were traveling back to Ayodhya. Gurudev explained that at that time, Hanuman, he took a special form and he went and told Bharat, be ready, Ram is coming. So Bharat, who was at that time sleeping on the ground in a place called Nandigram, just outside of Ayodhya, Bharat got everyone ready to welcome Sri Ram. And that is the significance of the first Diwali. They all had lamps and they were welcoming Ram. Someone told me the other day that it was like a landing strip that Ram could see. But also it represents this Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Gurudev said this, Deepavali means this. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Make darkness be vanquished. Sorry, Asat means untruthfulness. And Sat means may truthfulness manifest. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Might darkness or ignorance be dispelled and may light manifest in my life. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Mrityor means death. May death be pushed out. May Amrit means immortality or nectar. Nectar of immortality awaken in my life. So when we are offering deep, it's really Prem Pradeep, the lamplight of love and affection to the Lord. Automatically all of these things will take place. So all the Ayodhyavasis had their lamps ready. When Sri Ram was coming back, they had been waiting desperately for those 14 years for Sri Ram to return. They had already heard all of what was going on. Ram had rescued Sita with the help of all of these Vanaras and Hanumanji. So they were so happy, they were excited, they were dancing for joy, and they all had lamps to welcome Sri Ram as he arrived back in Ayodhya. The very next day, Ram was bathed and he was coronated, crowned as king. Of course, he was the emperor of the world. Patipavana Shri Ramachandra ki jai. With his queen Sita, his brother Lakshman, everyone was blissful, everyone was happy, everyone was dancing. It was perfection. Everyone felt so happy. That day Sita was giving in charity so many thousands of jewels, so much wealth. She was so happy. She gave one extremely valuable pearl necklace to Hanuman.
I think it was something Ram had given her on the wedding day.
Sudevi mentioned that she may have heard or read that Ram had given her that necklace on her wedding day. So she was so excited and so happy, she gave that necklace to Hanuman. Hanuman looked at the pearl necklace and broke it apart, and all those pearls went all over the floor. And then Hanuman was picking up the pearls, cracking them and looking inside, throwing them to the side. The next one, looking inside. They're like, what are you doing? That's a priceless treasure. The most valuable pearls, what are you doing? Why are you breaking them and biting them, cracking them in half and throwing it away? Hanuman said, I'm looking inside to see if my Ram is there. If Ram is not there, it is useless, and he would throw it away. Next, looking. And they were laughing. They said, Hanuman, Ram is always in your heart. Hanuman, what? So immediately Hanuman pulled open his chest, and there everyone saw Sita and Ram were in his heart.
Jai Hanuman.
Pavan Putra Hanuman ki jai. Hanuman was always serving Ram in every single way. In every way. Gurudev said, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor. Vachan Sivai Kunta Gunanu Varnane. Karo Harer Mandir Marjanadishu. In every way he was serving with all of his senses. One time soon after that, Hanuman, he saw in Sita's dressing room, she had almost fully finished putting on all of her jewelry and everything. She was dressed, but she was just applying her sindoor. You know, the red stuff that a married lady puts in her hair. Hanuman said, oh mother, what are you doing? Why do you put this in your hair? And she said, oh, this is auspicious. When I put this in my hair, this means that my husband will have a very long life. So Hanuman was so excited. When Sita left that place, Hanuman snuck back in there. He took all of the kumkum and the oil, mixed it together, and put it over his whole body. And then he entered into the court of Sri Ram. At that time, everyone began laughing. They were laughing, what have you done? What have you done? At that time, Hanuman was very serious. He said, Mother Sita, she said that by putting this here, that it would give Ram a long life and that he would be happy and everything would be auspicious. So I put it over my whole body.
She puts it here.
Yeah, she only puts it here. But Hanuman said, she only puts it in one place, but I put it over my whole body. What kind of dedication does he have to the lotus feet of Sri Ram? Sri Hanumanji was never satisfied without having seva for Ram. Never satisfied. Once upon a time, Sita, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughna, they recognized that Hanuman was serving Ram in every single way. He was massaging Ram's feet, he was doing all of the seva, and they were like, no, we need to make an arrangement different than that. So they divided up all the seva amongst themselves. Sita got the night shift, Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna, they got to rotate through the day shift, and they left out poor Hanuman. Hanuman came, what seva can I do? They said, sorry, there's no seva left. He said, what? Impossible, please, I cannot live without seva. There's a verse in Padyavali by Sri Rupa Goswami, not by Sri Rupa Goswami, it's by Hanuman, but Rupa Goswami collected this verse and put it in Padyavali. There, Hanuman, he is completely devastated at the idea, I will never accept any form of liberation if this means that I will not be able to serve you. Hanuman cannot live with the idea of not being able to serve Sri Ram. So Hanuman was desperate. Is there anything I can do? Anything at all? They said, sorry, it's all been taken. Hanuman was desperate. Even though Ram had never yawned once in his life, because he's Bhagavan, why would he be tired? He never even yawned once. Still Hanuman said, how about when Ram yawns? Can I snap my fingers at that time? The snapping the fingers is equivalent to covering your mouth. It stops any negative influence from entering. It's considered to be auspicious at that time. You do this, it stops any inauspiciousness from coming. So Hanuman said, how about when he yawns? And they were thinking, well, Ram never yawns, so sure, why not? He can have that. So what did Hanuman do? He was sitting outside of Ram's palace, snapping his fingers. Within his bhav netra, within his mind's eye, only seeing that I am serving Ram. When Ram is yawning, I'm snapping my fingers. And he was only chanting the name of Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sure enough, by the power of his love, by his one-pointed mood of dedication to Sri Ram, by his desperate need to serve Sri Ram, what was happening inside the palace? Ram could not stop yawning. The power of Hanuman's love, the power of his desire to serve, completely controlled Ram. So much so that he made Ram yawn. So Hanuman had this kind of power of love and affection. So much so that Lakshman, Bharat, Shatrughna, Sita Devi, they were like, we can't do anything. There's no other seva we can do because Ram can't even instruct anything. He's just yawning and yawning and yawning. And then they were like, oh my God, what's going on? Oh, it's Hanuman. It's Hanuman. He's sitting there chanting the name of Ram and snapping his fingers. At that time, Ram said, you should give him some seva. Give him something. Give him some seva to do. So they gave Hanuman some seva. In this case, we should also understand that the Lord is controlled by the love of the devotees. The speciality of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas is not that we approach Krishna or the Lord himself. Krishna says, whoever says they are my devotee, they're not really my devotee. But the devotee of my devotee, he is my real devotee. In fact, he says, first you must worship the devotee. Mahadev says, of all kinds of worship, the worship of Vishnu is the highest. Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu aradhanam param. Then he tells Devi, but tasmat parataram Devi, there's something more than that. Tadyanam samarchanam. Who worships that person who is near and dear? That means the devotee. That is even higher than worshipping the Lord himself. In this case, Once upon a time, there was one person who had committed some terrible crime. And Ram, being the king, had the responsibility of giving just punishment to this person who committed a terrible crime. So Ram made a vow that by tomorrow, at midday, I will kill this person. That person was freaked out and desperate. Just then, Narada Muni came, and he saw this person was completely desperate. And he said, "What's wrong with you?" And he said, "Tomorrow I'm to be killed. Please help me. Please help me." Narada Muni is expert. He even pits the devotee against the Lord sometimes. Narada Muni told him, "You should go to Hanumanji and you tell Hanuman, 'Please protect me.'" He said you should grab onto Hanuman's feet and beg for protection. But don't tell him for what until after he vows to protect you. So this person said, okay. So he followed the order of Nard. He ran to Hanuman's feet crying, held onto his feet, "Please save me, Hanumanji. Please save me, protect me, protect me." He said, "From what?" He said, "I'm to be killed tomorrow. Someone's going to kill me. Please save me, please save me." Hanuman said, "Don't worry. I promise I will save you." Just after that, Sriman came. "Where is he? Where is that scoundrel?" It was after Hanuman said this, he said, "Who?" And he said, "Ram." He said, "Don't worry. He cannot touch you over my dead body," Hanuman said. So Ram came searching, "Where's that scoundrel?" And the scoundrel was just hiding behind Hanuman, holding on like, "Please protect me." Ram said, "Move out of the way." And Hanuman stood up with his club and said to Ram, "Over my dead body, I have promised to protect him." Ram had his bow and arrow, but it was a standoff. Ram had to give up his vow because of Hanuman's vow. So we see this also in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, "Moksha yashyami ma shucha." If anyone surrenders unto me, I will free them from all sinful reactions. You have my word. But Krishna broke his word on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He said, "I will not take up any weapon." But he took up a chariot wheel and rushed at Bhishma Dev because Bhishma Dev was firing his arrows so valiantly at Krishna and Arjuna. They couldn't fight them off fast enough. So Krishna got angry, grabbed a chariot wheel and went running toward Bhishma. At that time, Arjuna tackled Krishna, saying, "You vowed not to take up any weapon." So our Gurudev said it might be that Krishna may lie every once in a while. Therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna, "You declare it boldly that my devotee will never perish. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvach chantim nagachati konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati." My devotee will never perish. But he tells Arjuna, "You declare it boldly." Because they might not believe Krishna, but the devotee, Krishna will have to fulfill the promise of the devotee because Krishna becomes subservient to his devotees. He tells Durvasa Muni, Sriman Narayan tells Durvasa, "Aham bhakta paradhina." I am not at all independent. I am dependent upon the love of my devotees. And Krishna himself tells the gopis, "Napare ham nirabhadya samyujam." I have no way to repay you for your love. It is the greatest thing, and he becomes subservient to the love of the gopis. This is the speciality of the Lord, that even though he is the supreme controller, he himself has consented to become subservient to the love of his devotees. So Hanuman here is proving this point, defending this person from Ram. Ram had to accept defeat of Hanumanji. So many pastimes of Hanuman. Why am I telling the pastimes of Hanuman? Because Hanuman is the devotee of Sri Ram. And if we want to glorify Ram, if we don't glorify Hanuman, then how can we expect to receive the mercy of Ram? It is by the mercy of Hanuman, by attracting his attention, that Ram will be merciful to us. One time, there was a king. He was a very busy king. And Narad Muni told this king, "You should chant the name of Ram." The king said, "I have no time." He said, "You must chant the name of Ram. You must have some time." The king said, "I have absolutely no time." He said, "How about after work?" "Nope." "How about in the evening time?" "Nope." "How about when you're eating?" "Nope." "How about when you're going to the toilet?" King said, yes, I can do it at that time. I can chant the name of Ram. Narad Muni said, okay, you chant the name of Ram. So, when the king was going to the toilet, he was chanting Ram, 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 Ram. Wherever anyone is chanting the name of Ram, who is attracted to that place? Hanumanji. So Hanumanji immediately went to that place. And then he saw, hey, what's this? This person is taking the name of my Ram in such a filthy condition. Hey. Hanuman went and kicked that king in the back. But because he was completely absorbed in chanting the name of the Ram, he did not even feel that kick. Hanuman walked away and went back to Ayodhya. In Ayodhya, something amazing was happening. Everyone was freaked out. Hanuman's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And they said, Ram, he cannot breathe. Ram cannot breathe. Hanuman ran in and saw Ram. Ram's like this. Hanuman's like, what happened? Ram said, someone kicked me. Hanuman said, who kicked you? Ram said, you did. Hanuman said, I would never. Ram said, don't you know? Myself and my name, we are non-different. Today someone was chanting my name and you kicked them. That kick came directly to me. Hanuman, yes, yourself and your name are non-different. Abhinatva nama namino. So Hanuman is also teaching us through these very valuable lessons that the name of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. Except we can also understand that sometimes it appears that the Lord himself infuses more transcendental potency in his name than even he has himself. Like Mahaprabhu said, all of your potency is present within your name. Where Krishna himself cannot even go, his name can go there. Krishna cannot sneak into the houses of every gopis at night. Did I say that right? Into the house of every gopi at night. But his name is always there on their tongue. Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. So the name of the Lord can go anywhere and everywhere. That is why, especially now, Harer Nam, Harer Nam, Harer Nam eva kevalam, kalo nastyeva, 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 katir anyata. Not by burning down 5G towers or arguing about what the source of some virus is, can we attain perfection. There is no other way, no other way, no other way to attain perfection other than taking shelter of Harinam, Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Everything else is simply a waste of time that will bind us in samsara. It will bind us in samsara. If we're meditating on viruses at the time of death, what will happen?
It will become a virus.
Krishna promises. Whatever you're thinking about at the time of death, whatever your state of concentration is, you will become that. We don't want to become a virus. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now we're coming back to Sri Ram. So for some time, everything was wonderful and joyful in Ayodhya. Everyone was blissful and happy, and this is the function of the king. His responsibility is to make sure that everyone in his kingdom is satisfied, is blissful, is happy. That's his function and his duty. And if anyone had any difficulty or problem, they would bring that problem to the king, and his duty would be to take care of that issue or problem. But because Ram's Rajya is so wonderful, everyone was completely happy. But there was a situation where one man, his wife came home very, very late. Coming home very late, this man did not want to accept her back into his house. He said, I'm not like Ram, who accepts a wife back after she's been in the house of another. I'm not like that. A king cannot rule if his citizens are judging him for the misdeeds that he himself should be stamping out.
Just like a guru or sannyasi.
Just like a guru or sannyasi. Mahaprabhu said any sannyasi, any Vaishnava should be beyond reproach. There should be no black spot on their character. If you have a white sheet, even if everything's perfect and beautiful and clean and pure, but one little black spot, no one's going to see the rest of the sheet, they'll see the black spot. So Mahaprabhu makes that order, that one should remain without any black spot on their character. And especially if you're going to instruct others, then you have to be free from that fault yourself. Mahaprabhu said, if one is going to do prachar, preaching, then their achar, their own character, their own etiquette and everything should be the thing that they are preaching. So if someone is going to tell another person, you should take sannyas, then they themselves should be a sannyasi.
Saraswati Thakur, fat kid.
Was it Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada?
Yes.
So there was one child, he was very, very obese, he was unhealthy, he was having very difficult problems. So his mother came to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada and said, please tell my son to stop eating sweets. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, come back in 3 days' time. So in 3 days' time they came back and he told the boy, you should stop eating sweets. And she said to him, why didn't you say it 3 days ago? And he said, because at that time I myself was taking sweets. How could I instruct him to do something that I myself was not doing? Right? So this is a very valuable instruction. So there were some rumors coming to Ram. So what did Ram do? Back in the day, kings were different than leaders now. These days, leaders hide behind in their places and depend on everyone else to go and get information outside. They even send their military men out into battle while they're hiding in bunkers back in their homeland. Our Gurudev said back in the day, the leader or the king would be at the front of the army leading the charge, and all of those would be behind him, following him. So Ram showed by his own example. He went out into the public, but in a hidden way, to hear and see what's going on in the community. These days we've seen when any politician comes to Vrindavan, what happens? They never get to see what's going on here. Just like when Trump came to Delhi recently. They stopped all the cars from entering the highway. They blocked off everything.
No, when Modi came to Vrindavan.
They hid the slums. They made everything look a certain way. He went to Agra and Taj Mahal. They had people doing dances and dramas in the streets. And he didn't get to see India as it is. They gave him a false view of India. Millions of people lining the roads, cheering him on. 100,000 people inside a stadium. Even in Vrindavan. They took all of the cows out. They cleaned the roads. They lined the roads. They painted everything. When the Prime Minister came and other diplomats come to Vrindavan, they flooded Jamuna River with fresh water, which wasn't normally like that. They removed all the pigs, they removed the cows and the monkeys even. I don't know where the monkeys went.
They hid the homeless.
They hid the homeless, they put blockades everywhere, and then they bring them in and say, look. Then the leader does not receive the proper vision of what the citizens are living in or experiencing, because they're being given a false impression. So Ram showed by his own example. What did he do? He went out in a hidden way, and he went to see what's going on in the kingdom. And he heard some were making this criticism that, oh, he's taken back his wife who was living with another. And according to Vedic etiquette, this was not correct. It was not proper. So in order for Ram to properly rule the kingdom as a king, he could not have that criticism coming to him. Otherwise, the citizens would not respect him. If the citizens don't respect the leaders, there's chaos everywhere. So Ram, his heart completely broken. He was devastated by this idea because Sita is his own Shakti. Still, he had to do the unthinkable. He ordered his brother Lakshman, younger brother Lakshman, to do something. He said, Sita has been wanting to go and see the different ashrams of the different sages in different places for quite some time, and to give in charity there. So I want you to take her, and don't bring her back. Lakshman was completely shocked. How is this possible that Ram is giving this order? Ram said, I'm ordering you to take her and to leave her there, not to bring her back. Lakshman was devastated. Our Gurudev and Guru Varga have explained that because Ram gave that order, Lakshman, who had come as the younger brother of Ram, decided, I'm never coming as the younger brother again. So the next time, when he came as Balaram, the older brother of Krishna. So Krishna couldn't tell him what to do. And he also came as Nityananda Prabhu, the older brother of Mahaprabhu. But that time, because he was the younger brother, he was subservient to Ram, he had to follow the instruction of Ram, his king, and his older brother. So Lakshman very reluctantly brought Sita very, very far into the forest, nearby to the cottage of Valmiki. And there, when Sita got off the chariot, Lakshman got off, and then he told her what Ram had ordered. Immediately, Sita fainted on the spot, completely heartbroken. But when she came back, she said to Lakshman, I don't want to cause any problem to Ram. If my presence is creating a situation which is unfavorable to him, then let me stay here. What kind of mood of dedication? This is real love. Srila Gurudev was explaining that these days, any husband or wife is satisfied by a little money. Well, if he gives me some money and then he leaves, no problem. But in those days, the relationship was based on love and affection. And so Sita had given her whole heart to Ram. But what is the definition of love? What is favorable? What is for the pleasure and for the benefit of my beloved? And she was thinking, if my presence is not benefiting my beloved Ram, then let me remain far away. But also, she did not just immediately give up her body. Why? Because she knew that Ram had to do this by force. And if she were to give up her body, this would cause so much distress to Sri Ram. So she didn't want to cause any distress to him. So she accepted this punishment. At that time, she was pregnant with twins.
I think you should get to this tomorrow. We've come to the end.
What time is it?
7:30.
Is there that much more to tell?
Yeah.
Wow. Please forgive me. It's 7:30. It's been going on for a long time. So tomorrow we may finish, I think we will, this Katha, as we've heard from Srila Gurudev and our Guru Varga. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to remember all these amazing, beautiful, heartbreaking pastimes and instructions of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. We will continue tomorrow.
At 5 p.m. sharp, India time.
5 p.m. sharp, India time. So now we will do some kirtan.
Some Mahamantra.
Yes.
Start.
Alright, what are we doing?
Go.
Krishna राधा रमन सरकार की जय, गिरिराज महाराज की जय, हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति, गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति, गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति, गोविंद दामोदर माधवेति। जय जय श्री राधे श्याम।
See you tomorrow.
हरि बोल, राधे राधे।
Radhe